Minglava, welcome to MITV Special Program Perspectives. For this show, we have invited our special guest of honor, Sia Uwe Chen, who is the Counselor of Myanmar Press Council and the Chairman of E-Commerce Association of Myanmar and the Deputy Chairman of Myanmar Digital Economy Association of UMFCCI. Sia Uwe Chen has also worked in the United Kingdom and Singapore as a professional in banking and financial sectors for more than 15 years. Minglava Sia. Thank you very much for joining us in this show. So for today, we are going to discuss about our savings, what to do with our spare cash. So there are so many ways to do with our spare cash, but before making a move, we need to be very cautious in order not to lose our saving. So please tell me first about the general rules.
General rule is that, before you can talk about, investing or saving up your spare cash, you need to have at least 6 months of emergency fund. That is a basic general rule all across the world, right? For 6 month emergency fund, just in case you lose your job, just in case you get sick, right? Just in case because of some emergency that you're going to go somewhere, you need to have 6 months of emergency savings set aside. That the one that you don't touch. So only after 6 months, then you can start doing for taking care of other things and thinking of where to put your spare cash.
So is there any options do we have in our country?
Well, in Myanmar, because we can segregate the options that you have into two categories. The first one is a traditional one. Traditional one, your parents' time, our parents' time. Where do we put our spare cash? And the other one is a modern investment options. The first one is, spare cash. Normally, our parents time, we talk about property, right? Property is one of them. We talk about gold and jewelry. And plus, our recent times, we can talk about the foreign currency. And plus and then these are the traditional items. The new items are, be it insurance or you invest in the stock market. We have the Yangon Stock Exchange up and coming. So we have these options.
So to make investment our savings, how do we make our decisions?
Okay, there are 4 things that we need to consider. The first item is the returns. Return is how much money you get back every year on your investment. Return is normally measured as a percentage, right, of your investment. So how much would you get back? So there's the returns. Certain items are very high return, certain items not so much return. So that's the first thing you got to consider. Second one is the liquidity. Liquidity is how fast you can sell the item that you invested, how quickly. For example, if you invest in property, it's quite difficult to sell very fast, unless you lose a lot of money for that, unless you're trying to sell it at a very cheap price. But on the other hand, if you invest in gold, you can sell it back today. Right? If you want to sell the gold today, you can sell it, you can get the money right now. So that type of quick, you can get the money back. So that's called liquidity. The third one is a carrying cost. Carrying cost is, when you buy that item, what is the cost of carry? For example, if you buy gold, you have to keep it in your safe. So that you run the risk of people robbing you or, people doing burglary or whatever. People may steal your gold. So that is called the carrying cost. Or if you buy foreign currency, especially in Myanmar, very unique thing. If you buy US dollar, right, it has to be squeaky clean, right? You cannot have fold, you cannot have bands, you cannot have spots, right? Other countries you don't have like that. You have the old US dollar, you have the new US dollar. So all these things, your old US dollar, nobody accepts in Myanmar. But in other countries all over the world, everybody accepts that. So that type of thing. So that is a carrying cost. Carrying cost, once you have, there's a high carrying cost, right? Because sometimes the paper notes, the US dollar notes, they got torn or they got dirty, then you have a problem, converting back into cash, into local currency. So that is a carrying cost. And the other one is the, inflation protection. Because inflation, these days, at least in 2021, inflation is a bit high. So, your investment have to be inflation protected. Right, so then, is worth investing. Normally property, gold, they are inflation protected.
So how about we choose the real estate? Tell me about the properties.
Okay, in real estate is a very common investment item, since our old grandparents, great grandparents' time, right? Real estate refer to land and buildings, right, including farmlands, commercial property, residential property, business properties, right, condominiums, apartments, all are real estate, right? Or the plantations, be it rubber plantation or some fruits plantation. So these are also real estate, right? The key thing that you got to watch out for real estate is the title, the ownership. To make sure that the person who is selling you that real estate or that property actually own that property, right? Sometimes you will get cheated and it's going to be a lot of money. It's very costly to you. And the other thing that you got to worry is the use of it. For example, if you find farmland, you can only use it for agriculture or livestock. Yeah, that type of thing. You cannot use it to build, other properties. You cannot subdivide and sell it or that type of thing. Yeah, so you got to look at the use of that property. Yeah, but there's two advantages that property has over other investment assets. The first advantage is you can actually live in that. Right, when you buy a property, right, besides the property price going up and besides being protected against inflation, so the property provides a roof over your head. That's the first advantage. The second advantage is when you buy property, the banks always naturally give you financing. So you don't have to come up with a whole or lump sum of property. So if you buy like 1,000 lakhs, I think the town 1,000 lakhs property, right? You don't have to come up with the whole 1,000 lakhs. You can come up with 500 lakhs and you can get the rest of the 500 lakhs financed by the bank. So that is another advantage of investing in property.
So what about the advantages of buying gold and foreign currencies?
The gold and foreign currency, the advantage is the liquidity. You can sell it off very fast. You can convert back into your local currency very fast. But the key disadvantage here is both of them, they do not provide you any returns. You can't get any returns, right? Nobody is giving you. If you buy property, you can earn rental out of that property. Monthly rental, you can rent out the property. Even if you buy farmland, you can do the contract farming, right? Or you can let other people plant the rice or whatever on your land, and for that you can get returns. But for gold and foreign currency, you are still waiting for the price to go up, which may not happen. Yeah, so that is a danger of that. And plus, for the especially for the US dollar, you have the local issues, right? The one only happened in Myanmar. You have the squeaky clean US dollars. You cannot have all the dons and bands and all the folds and you get all the spots. They don't accept that. So that's the issue. Right, and also gold and these dollars, the prices depend on international politics because that's not your currency. That's the American currency. So it depends on what is happening in the country of origin. So that is So I feel that you have more disadvantages of these two compared to the properties.
So how about gems and jewelries?
Yeah, gems and jewelry. So in Myanmar, being a country that has a lot of gems and jewelry hidden in underground, so we are also investors in that, right? So gems and jewelry, yes. The key thing is you need to have knowledge. Right? Sometimes when people sell you, rubies or sapphires, you don't know knowledge. You don't have the knowledge, so people can cheat you easily. So that's the first thing that you got to watch out. And the second one is the liquidity, right? Gems, especially jade or rubies or sapphire, liquidity is not there because there is no standardized pricing. Even diamonds, you have different grades, right? You have VS, VVS. You have different clarity, right? So you can have standardized structure for diamonds, but for rubies and sapphires and jade, they don't have that. So that's why it's very difficult to get the price correct, especially when you sell or when you buy, right? And then the other one is lots of fake things. Even recently on the online, there's a artificial diamonds that is created by the labs and being sold as the genuine underground diamond that is mined, right? So even some even have the some certificates, so you can get cheated because of that. So you can only buy these things from people who you can rely upon, some shops that is not going to run away, and it's very dangerous to buy these jewelries from the internet. It's very dangerous, especially for those of the people you don't know.
So I think we have another choice like insurance. How about the buying insurance from the various companies?
Yeah, insurance market is regulated, so it's quite reliable. They will not run away. That's one good thing, right? So we have different types of insurance, essentially life and general. Life insurance you can subdivide it into life, endowment, term, that type of thing. So this is one of the items that it may be useful as part of your investment portfolio, because sometimes something happened to you, the insurance is the only entity that's going to come and give you money. Yeah, in terms of the general, your car insurance and house insurance, property insurance is a must these days, especially we have so many cars and so many accidents and people stealing car. If you have insurance, you don't have to worry of other people stealing your car. Yeah, if you don't have, it's all your loss. Yeah, so that's the insurance that you got to watch out for.
So is there any categories we have to make chosen?
Yeah, there's some other, investment and some categories that some people enjoy. For example, very good example is the stock market. You have the Yangon Stock Exchange that you have, like right now we have like 7 or 8 companies that you can invest in. Yeah, that's good. But of course, the disadvantage still have, is still slightly behind in terms of the standards compared to the international markets. If you invest in Yangon Stock Exchange, you got to give money first. Well, in other markets, you pay money after you buy. Here, you pay money before you buy. So that is still one of the disadvantages that we have here. Yeah, it still is reliable. It's a government controlled entity, so at least you will not, so nobody will cheat your money by investing in the exchange. The other one is, one thing that I want to highlight is cars. Cars are not investment. They are depreciating item. So you should never buy car as an investment. Yeah, especially if you're not a car dealer. Car dealer, of course, they are doing it as a business. That's fine. But if you're not a car dealer, I will strongly not recommend you to, play with in the car market and double and lose your hard-earned cash. And the other one is people normally, some of the people invest in antiques or item. Antiques also very difficult to invest because you got to be very, very knowledgeable about that, right? And the last one is the watches. Watch also, they're expensive watches. They preserve some value, but most of the watches are depreciating items. Only watches like Patek Philippe or the big 3 or the Rolex, then they may preserve some values to certain brands or certain categories of Rolex watches. Then they may preserve some value. Other than that, watches are also not investing assets. They are depreciating items.
So before making any investments in these kinds of entities, what kinds of measures do we watch out for?
Well, the first thing is a fraud. People, you have to realize that a lot of people are out there, especially on the internet, on the Facebook, trying to cheat your money. So you always have to be aware that follow the concept of buyers beware. You're the buyer, you got to be knowledgeable, you got to research before you part with your money. That's the first thing. The second one is the greed. You don't fall into the greed. Once you are greedy, it's likely that you lose your money. And people have an easier time to defraud you if you are greedy. And so the third one is the knowledgeable. Yeah, in order to be knowledgeable, you got to read a lot, you got to learn a lot, you got to study a lot, you got to research a lot. Only then you ended up making the right investment decision.
Thank you very much for your explanation.
Thank you.
You have been watching MITV special program Perspectives. Thanks for being with us.